What's up? Today I'm going to be making a house track. This is my first video on YouTube, but I've been producing for about a year and a half on and off. But I'm just kind of getting into the house music genre, so I want to sort of document my progress as I keep going, and I thought YouTube would be a good way to do that. Not really sure what kind of vibe I'm going for with this track, but I'm going to just sort of see what happens. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, I got this really cool synth on Serum. I'm thinking something like... Okay, so I laid out the chords and here's how it sounds. I went ahead and threw some guitar rig on there, so here's how it sounds. Sounds very open and spacey. I turned it off because there was some static, but it sounds very open and spacey. I'm not really sure exactly how to add on to this, so I'm just going to throw some drums on there and see how it sounds. I found this top loop that I really liked, and then I added some kick to it. So here's what it sounded like now. Okay, so I went ahead and added two different basses. We got a Reese bass right here that sounds like this. And then another bass right here. I went ahead and chopped this one up, same notes, but just to kind of give it some character. So here's how it's sounding. I'm going to go ahead and add a lead now that kind of has more of a melody to it. Okay, so I got my lead. I went ahead and put in the melody that I wanted. The first part right here is kind of a build up, and then the second part right here is like the climax of it all. So here's what it sounds like now. And then I'm going to go ahead and find some vocals to throw over this. Okay, so I found these vocals that I liked. Here's what they sound like.
Dancing under the moonlight, moving like water, alive with the stars tonight.
But I'm not going to play the track yet because it sounds very messy. I'm going to go ahead and sort of EQ the whole thing, add some sidechain, some compression, and then I'll come back and play it after I do all that. Okay, so I went ahead and did a little bit of mixing. For the kick, I sidechained it to both of the basses, which if you don't know what that is, it basically makes the basses duck when the kick comes through. This is because they're all lower frequency, so if you don't do this, it'll sound a little bit kind of muddy. And so with the Reese bass, I went ahead and cut the higher frequencies above 100 hertz. And then for the bass with a little bit more character, I cut all the frequencies sort of below 100 hertz so that they wouldn't clash. And then I just went ahead and EQ'd all the other elements, added some Maximus to the vocals, and now I'm going to go ahead and start arranging the song. Alright, so as I started sort of arranging the song, I wanted to add a little bit of atmosphere, so I found this cool rain effect. I just have that in the background, and then I got this little perk to kind of kick us off, so... I also found these vocal chops. They sound pretty sick. So that's sort of how it's sounding at the moment. I'm going to just keep going. Alright, so as I'm putting this thing together, I went ahead and added another shaker loop. Nothing groundbreaking, but it kind of just gives the drums a little bit more texture. And then one cool thing I want to do here when we introduce the rolling bass is sort of automate the cutoff, which I have a MIDI right here, so I can program that to be one of these knobs and kind of twist it and feel it as I do it. And if you don't know what the cutoff is, basically, the higher the cutoff, the more kind of gritty it's going to sound. So I'm going to go ahead and automate that right now. And just like that, we've edited the cutoff to kind of bring it to life a little bit more. I also got these vocals from the same singer to kind of use during the drop. So I'm going to go ahead and integrate those. Alright, so I just finished mixing and arranging the song. If anyone is curious how I mixed it, let me know and I can make a separate video on that. But for now, I will spare the details. But yeah, I'm going to play the finished song, and hopefully y'all like it. Let me know if you like it, if you don't like it, if you have any feedback, any tips, just let me know. But without further ado, here is the final product. Alright, that's the finished product. This thing took me like 10 hours to mix and master because I'm not very good at it yet, so it takes a very long time. But again, let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching.